Boy, them boy with Thorn, boy.
Roach came up. Roach normally fights at 130. He came up to 135.
Hey, listen, they got a rematch. They got a rematch. That fight was good. And obviously, I've seen a lot of boxers come out and say, Tank lost. When I looked at the scorecard, I think maybe going into round 7, maybe 7 or 8, maybe 7, I think Tank was up on the scorecard.
I expected to see a knockout. I expected to see it come at the hands of Gervonta Tank Davis against a dude that I thought was undersized, that I thought was not on the same level.
Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who's been around Tank his whole life. This is a different fight. You can't put Roach to the side like that.
Bo the Boy with Thorn Boy Roach, who typically fights at 130, appeared at 135. Hey, listen, they got a rematch. They got a rematch. That fight was good. And obviously a lot of people, I've seen a lot of boxers come out and say, Tank lost. When I looked at the scorecard, I think maybe going to round 7, maybe 7 or 8, maybe 7.
I expected to see a knockout. I expected to see it come at the hands of Gervonta Tank Davis against a dude that I thought was undersized, that I thought was not on the same level. And my God, was I wrong. So I thought it was apropos that on this particular day, more than a week after Lamont Roach showed up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and let everybody know, I'm no joke either. Y'all don't know who the hell I am. I'm here to reintroduce him to the world. A guy that many believe should be the lightweight champion of the world in the sport of boxing. The one and only Lamont Roach joins me right now.
I think Tank was up on the scorecard. I expected to see a knockout. I expected to see it come to the hands of Gervonta Tank Davis against a dude that I thought was undersized, that I thought was not on the same level. Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who's been around Tank his whole. Like, this is a different fight. You can't put Roach aside like that. ESPN analysts like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp have discussed the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch, expressing surprise that the first fight ended in a draw instead of knockout day. Believe the rematch will provide a much clearer
match. That next game, what do you do that you didn't do the first time? Is that a valid question?
Well, I don't know if he pitched a shutout, but he definitely fought a perfect
game.
Perfect fight for him. For that fight, right? So above and beyond what we've ever seen from him, something that people who knew him and knew him personally knew that he has that in him, but being able to do it on the big stage underneath those lights, that's a whole different thing. He was able to do it. It was packed in there. It was 19,000. I was in the room. I mean, they were literally booing him when he was on the Megatron above the ring. So for him to walk into hostile territory, perform the way that he performed from beginning to end, I mean, I tip my hat. It was amazing. But in terms of pitching a shutout, I don't agree. It was a very, very close fight.
No, but what I mean by that is the perfect fight. Can he elevate from that?
Yeah. No, I absolutely understand. So in terms of can he elevate his performance? Yes and no. I don't think he can do anything that he was once he really found his rhythm better, because I think that was literally his catch and shoot, his rolling, his ability to catch those punches, his mindset when he did get touched, his ability to walk through. But I think he can be a little smarter in the way that he cuts off the quadrants of a 12-rounder. Understanding what a 12-rounder and how to fight a 12-rounder is a skill that takes time. You have to go 12 a bunch of times. You have to be world-class guys. Being able to be a little busier for early on to make sure that you understand that you are the B-side. You need to make sure these judges absolutely know without a doubt in their mind that you won that round. Being a little more aggressive early on, letting the hands go a little earlier, putting the exclamation on the points in the early rounds the way they did it the later rounds, I think will make a big difference in how he could actually improve on what he did the first time.
Decision, as both fighters will make adjustments to prove who truly deserves the victory. I thought it was appropriate that on this specific day, more than a week after Lamont Roach showed up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and told everyone, hey, I'm no joke either.
Wipe the team right back. I'm believing him. I didn't see him hurt or anything like that. I get that part. I saw him hurt when he got popped with a counter from Lamont Roach and he stumbled backwards because he got hit with a shot while throwing a punch in an earlier round. So I'm certainly not going to do that. Here's the important point to mention. All of us got to stand down and give Lamont Roach an apology. I thought that brother was going to get beat down because I saw a dude that was a bantamweight champion. I said, why are you moving up to fight this guy? Why is Gervonta Davis taking this fight? This guy's too small. What the hell is going on? He was a featherweight champion. You're a lightweight. What the hell is going on? Why would you take that fight? I didn't understand it. What I didn't know is that once Lamont Roach stepped into the ring, he would be the bigger fighter. What I didn't know is that once he was in the ring and he looked like the bigger fighter, he fought like the bigger fighter because, ladies and gentlemen, from opening bell, he walked right to Gervonta Davis. Walked right to him and stayed in his face all night long. If he backed up at all, ladies and gentlemen, it was 5% of the time.
Y'all don't know who the hell I am. I'm here to reintroduce him to the world, a guy that many believe should be the lightweight champion of the world in the sport of boxing. I expect to see a knockout, and I thought it would be by Gervonta Tank Davis against a guy that I thought was undersized and not on the same level. My God, was I wrong. Even though the fight ended in a draw, Lamont Roach showed that he could compete at the highest level in the rematch because to his...
That fight with Tank and Lamont Roach shows y'all how protected Tank has been for the past several years. And the people saying, oh, Tank know Lamont and he been respected Lamont because they fought in the amateurs. Man, he was cherry picking Lamont, and really thought he was going to get that win. But Lamont wasn't coming to play around. He stood his ground and fought back. And to be honest, he won the fight. The rematch is going to be a knockout.
Outstanding performance in the first fight, which featured sharp skills and a well-thought-out strategy. Roach has a chance to hone his strategy by emphasizing accuracy and quickness. In order to get definitive, he can guarantee a dominant performance by making minor modifications and keeping his cool. His capacity to adjust and grow from the first fight will be essential in demonstrating his superiority and dispelling any doubts regarding his victory in the eagerly awaited sequel, Rematch the Next Game.
I mean, both saying that's something that y'all would do. You sparred Lamont before, right?
For sure, yeah. Actually, he was the one who got me ready for Oscar Valdez.
Oh, Lamont Roach did?
Lamont Roach was the guy who really got me ready for that fight.
What was the work like?
It was good work. Honestly, that was one of the reasons why I bet tonight. Because I knew what I was in the ring with. Like, I knew that he wasn't no pushover, he wasn't no slouch. And when I seen that, I said, okay, when he fight Tank, I know that it's going to be the fight that I assumed it to be honest.
Hold on, because you was saying that, I ain't gonna lie, you was on Twitter been saying, you feel like, I don't know if you didn't say Lamont was going to win, but you just kept making it you know what I'm saying? I don't even know what you were saying, but you kept alluding to Lamont was going to do something. So, you saying you seen this, the way the fight played out based on how your sparring session went?
I'm not going to say how the sparring session went just because of the fact that I'm a different fighter than what Tank is.
Yeah.
And it's like sparring and fighting two different things. But I knew what I was up against when I was sparring him. I knew the skill level. And I also, I watch boxing, so I go back and watch. And these guys go back and watch, and they looking like, okay, well, he was in front of this guy, so it was this, but styles make fights. And I know that Tank is shorter. He's fast, but Lamont got good defense. And I just knew exactly how that fight was going to go. I told everybody that Lamont was going to be the one pushing forward. Tank was going to be the boxer, and it literally looked exactly how I thought it was going to look.
How did you see the actual fight? Let's break it down, because you was ringside. You sat. I saw you on Twitter. They showed the videos of you ringside.
Is it reasonable to ask, what do you do that you didn't do the first time? Well, I don't know if he pitched his shutout, but he definitely fought a perfect fight for him for that fight, right? So above and beyond what we've ever seen from him, something that people who knew him and knew him personally knew that he has that in him. But being able to do it on the big stage underneath those lights, that's a whole different thing.
Mine winning, I really felt like he was in control of the fight. I think Tank had good moments, but I feel like when he was boxing boring, he was more so in control. That's when he was kind of in control of the fight for me. And when he kind of tried to fight, I felt like Lamont was on point.
He was able to do it. He was. Packed in there was 19,000. I was in the room. I mean, they were literally booing him when he was in the Megatron above the ring, So for him to walk into hostile territory, perform the way that he performed from beginning to end, I mean, I tip my hat. That was amazing. But in terms of pitching a shutout, I don't agree. It was a very, very close fight, but what I mean by is the perfect fight can he elevate from that? Yeah,
He wasn't wilding like usual, right?
Yeah.
And the rematch, he'll be able to prove himself. I don't really believe there was a reason to call out a knockdown if you don't call Roach's shit a knockdown as well. They both was on the knee, pause. They both took a knee. So it cancels each other's out. It's either both are knockdowns or none. And neither are. So what we talking about?
Nah,
They definitely hate Tank. That part is a fact.
Nah,
I don't. I'm
no,
saying
I'm not
in
saying
general.
us.
In general.
I'm just saying like couldn't wait.
He got to Mayweather level where people hate him.
When you do well enough, people look for you
Success breeds
to.
that.
yeah, that's good.
Success breeds that. When you
that's a
it's
fact.
either they love you or they hate you. There's no in betweens. No longer indifferent for you because everyone knows you.
I absolutely understand. So in terms of can he elevate his performance, yes. And no, I don't think he can do anything that he was once he really found his rhythm better. Because I think that was literally his catch and shoot, his rolling, his ability to catch those punches, his mindset. When he did get touched in his ability to walk through. But I think he could be a little smart in a way that he cuts off the quadrants of a 12-rounder being understanding what a 12-rounder and how to fight 12-rounder is a skill that takes time,
You know I got to ask about fights. Gervonta Davis, draw with Lamont Roach. People looking at it as controversial because of the whole knee. What'd you think of the fight?
It was a great fight, I had it 7-5 Tank, or you can make it the draw, but I feel like Lamont, he did good. He did a great job actually. I just don't think he did enough to pull it off. And I feel like people was overlooking what Tank was doing in the first like 5-6 rounds. He was like boxing and frustrating him a little bit. But Lamont, like I said before, Lamont did a great job.
Yeah, some people had it Tank, some people had it draw, some people had it Lamont. Do you think Tank gets a lot of criticism for not knocking Lamont out and Lamont not being in big names, so they overblow it?
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little